Server Dynamic Holdings Berhad. Engineer Dr. Carl Ng, Director, Malaysia Digital Economic Corporation MDEC, and Dr. Azri Shahril Ahmad Nazri, President, Artificial Intelligence Malaysia. This season finale will be moderated by Mr. Ahmad Razif of MIND, who is currently a manager in the President and CEO's office. He manages several international and local programs, especially Newton Engku Omar Fund, NUOF, multilateral collaboration with Muslim majority countries, and Malaysia Advanced Technology Cluster and Hub, MATCH. He is an alternate member of the Science, Technology and Innovation STI Standing Committee for the State of Kedah, which he assists the state in providing inputs that supports the Kedah 2035 agenda. Prior to joining MIT, he led a nationwide IBS Human Capital Development Program on behalf of CIDB. Razif has a Master of Technology and Innovation Management from UTM and currently pursuing his PhD with Heriot-Watt University. With this, I would like to invite Mr. Razif Mohammed to moderate our season finale of Season 1.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Ms. Zati, for the kind introduction. Welcome, everyone, to our new episode of MITE's webinar, Road to Recovery, 10th episode. And for this particular episode, we will be talking about a particular technology. We may not see it with our very own eyes, but it's virtually everywhere and more or less touch our lives: artificial intelligence. As a backdrop for our discourse today, as we know, the fourth industrial revolution has reached our shores and it is inevitable. And in this, especially in this fast-moving world where everything is connected. Now, putting COVID-19 into the equation, this will accelerate the adoption. This revolution plus new normal has influenced every single aspect that we humans do, such as how we live, how we work, play, communicate, and it is reshaping the whole ecosystem, like the government, education, healthcare, and businesses. Everyone has made the necessary provision to embrace this change so that businesses will not be left behind by their competitors. In fact, according to Fortune Business Insight, the global AI market size was valued about 27 billion in 2019. And PricewaterhouseCoopers has projected by 2030, AI will contribute to the global economy of $15 trillion. And out of that $15 trillion, within the developed Asia, PwC projected that $0.9 trillion, which accounts for 10.4% of the global GDP. And this does not include China. China itself, it's USD $7 trillion. Well, talking about China, as we all know, China has always taken a further step as they see the importance of AI in the future. China is really focusing on AI industry and the growth rate is rapidly increasing. The Chinese AI enterprises in the fields of education, business intelligence, and even face recognition grew at an exponential rate over 5,000%, 700%, and 600% respectively. This shows that China believes in investing towards AI would definitely benefit the country, but more importantly, it benefit the people. Well, let's come back closer back home. Let's talk about Malaysia. Artificial intelligence is relatively a new industry that's poised to change lives, businesses, and even government. It is an industry that will be utilized in every sector possible, such as transportation, sports, media, online shopping, aerospace, and so much more. By 2021, AI will allow the rate of innovation to almost double and increase employee productivity improvement by 60% in Malaysia, according to country's business leaders. Due to this alone, we can see how much of significant AI is to Malaysia. AI not only can help the economic growth and development for this country, but it can also raise the income levels and also improve the standard of lives of Malaysians. So coming back to the topic, how? How do we create this exciting new sector with its multi-billion-dollar opportunities? Well, to answer this $200 billion question, today we have three distinguished panelists from the government, industry, and also AI society. Our first panelist, Yang Bagi Datuk Karim Abdullah. He is the Group Chief Executive Officer of Serba Dynamic Holding Berhad. Datuk Karim is a mechanical engineer turned entrepreneur with more than 30 years of experience in engineering services for oil and gas, power, water, utility, and IT solutions. He serves as the Group CEO and Managing Director for Serba Dynamic since 1993 and leads the group of companies to be listed on the main board of Bursa Malaysia in February 2017. He helms a group of companies from small SME to almost 6 billion ringgit market capitalization and in excess of 15 billion ringgit of order book. During this time, Datuk Karim has been actively engaged as a speaker at various private and government events, including international conferences on futuristic technologies, Industrial Revolution 4.0, effective leadership, winning management style, as well as his secrets to corporate maneuvering during choppy economic periods. Datuk, I think we will invite you again to this to give a talk on this particular topic in the future. I think many industry players would want to learn from you. Under his stellar leadership, Serba Dynamic presents in 24 countries across 6 continents and has operational offices in Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Qatar, Bahrain, UK, and even in the UAE. Datuk Karim is the chairman of Kumpulan Powernet Berhad, Sarawak Consolidated Industry Berhad, and Bion PLC. He is the chairman of Institute Materials Malaysia and the CEO faculty of Polytechnic Kuching. He received many local and international awards and recognition for his achievements. Our second distinguished panelist, Insignor Dr. Carl Ng. He is the director of the Data Economics Development Division, Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, or MDEC. As a director of the Data Ecosystem Development Division, Dr. Carl leads MDEC's effort in building a thriving national data ecosystem that leverage on the power of data for value creation, innovation, and new source of growth. The data ecosystem endeavors including driving the impact of data technologies such as Internet of Things, Big Data Analytics, and Artificial Intelligence via a two-pronged strategy of growing the local supply of such solutions via industry development programs and while carrying out digital transformation on the demand side. Dr. Carl is instrumental in the development of National Big Data Analytics Framework in 2014 and currently driving the development of the National Artificial Intelligence Framework. So I think we're going to hear a lot from him today on this particular topic. He also chairs the National Data Sharing Policy Task Force. He holds a bachelor degree in engineering from the University of Birmingham, United Kingdom, an MBA with distinction and a Doctor of Business degrees from Charles Sturt University, Australia. He recently completed the Oxford AI program from Said Business School of University of Oxford. He also attended executive programs from Harvard Business School and Carnegie Mellon University. He is also a registered professional engineer. He sits in the advisory board of several universities in Malaysia and has served as a judge in International Entrepreneurship and Innovation Awards, including EY Entrepreneur of the Year Malaysia from 2012 to 2016. And our last and final panelist of the day, we have Dr. Azri Sharil bin Ahmad Nazri. Dr. Azri, he is currently the president of the Artificial Intelligence Society of Malaysia. He and his team has designed the Taman Maya AI in Terengganu. He led initiatives to democratize skills in demand technologies. He has been a consultant to several companies in Malaysia to establish AI competency in private sectors. He had initiated several initiatives with federal government to increase the adoption of AI in public sectors. He led several successful AI projects around Malaysia, such as Smart City, AI in healthcare, AI in agriculture, and others. He graduated from Cambridge University and did his postdoctoral at Harvard Medical School. Gentlemen, welcome to the show, and thank you for your time for being with us today. So today, in our webinar, we're going to do 3 rounds of questions. So for the first round of questions, I really like to ask your perspective with regards to AI, more of where we are right now. I'd like to start the question with Dr. Carl. From government perspective, where is Malaysia today in terms of technology readiness in AI and perhaps comparison with other countries? Where we are now, sir? The mic is yours.
Inviting me to be here today. So let me just show you a chart. This is actually a very recent research that was just been published by McKinsey Global Institute. And this provides with the chart of the AI adoption by sectors in the whole ASEAN, right? So Malaysia, I think we started our digital and also ICT sector quite very early in the 1990s with the multimedia super corridor, as well as a lot of different ICT projects driven by the government and private sector. And through this, over the years, we have quite a number of companies who are already matured when it comes to ICT adoption and also being digital ready and data rich, right? So if I'm not surprised that when you look at the adoption sector, Malaysia is well positioned when it comes to digital adoption. From this view, we can see that there's high adoption of AI in the area of high tech and telecommunication, in the area of financial sector, and also emerging moderate growth in the area of media, retail, professional services, and even healthcare. Right. So, and a majority of these organizations are focusing on transforming their operations process, such as digitization, performance management, but also there are also companies who are transforming their customer experience as well from the use of AI to understand their customer as well as the touch point. Right. So you can see these sectors are growing, but there are also other sectors that we struggle as well. And these sectors include, I mean, in this particular chart, you can see areas of resources, utility, manufacturing, and others, right? So, and with the recent government initiative on Penjana, more and more companies are going into digitization, and a lot of them are going to be digitally ready. And I'm sure that in the future, as more and more companies have more data, they're able to pursue AI adoption in the future. Right. So this is the current landscape that we have right now. We are not far compared to the other countries. Obviously, there's a lot more that we need to do to grow the demand side, right? So in order to, back to the title of today's presentation, how do you grow a 200 billion in industry? We need to push the adoption side. Obviously, we need to create demand, local demands, but at the same time as well, we also need to grow the supply side so that we're able to create global companies that provide solutions globally as well. Okay, that's all I have to say, Razif.
Thank you, Dr. Carl. I think your point is very key, especially on the local adoption. It is very true that for us to to move into this new exciting space, it's really for the local industry to move into this new technology area. I'd like to move to Dato' Karim. Sir, you have 30 years of experience with multi-sectoral What's your what's your views of AI as a sector in Malaysia?
Issue has issued out quite a lot of pertinent points and informations, and I just would like to chip in a bit more. Firstly, I would say that the important thing is everybody understood or everybody realized the importance of AI. And if we look at back from the theoretical concept or academic aspect of it, it's one of the pillars that support Industrial Revolution 4.0. And Industry Revolution 4.0 is a technology tools or platform that help individuals, organizations, and any institution which have asset with them to move forward to achieve productivity, higher productivity, and of course the efficiency will be improved based on that. So in the context of Malaysia, as what Dr. Karl has presented just now, we are ranked within one of the active country that implement and appreciate and I would say to a certain extent has the capability in terms of AI. And from the industry perspective, of course, we see that the awareness are being built up at the moment, especially with the government of the day who put a lot of emphasis onto the importance of AI as one of the component, and of course further driven by institutions, agencies like MDEC. What they have done, sir, is something which is very good. Is a platform to build up better understanding and awareness. And of course, Mike is also a very strong entity that promote technology, is also playing the role. And of course, outside, like industry practitioner like us, we are also playing our role to do our very level best to build this awareness towards the various strata community. And of course, as an industrial practitioner, we are not looking at only building awareness, but we are looking at the implementation aspect of it. Rightfully, as what has been mentioned by Dr. Karl, implementation is very important because at the end of the day, people would like to see the results and also the effectiveness of just a technology. And we have shared in quite a number of case studies that assets owner that adopted this AI technology as compared to people who use the traditional method is proven to be able to complete the diagnosis and the digestions of all the data within 4 days as compared to a traditional method which requires 14 days. So it's a saving of 10 days and 1 day production's value of that particular asset is talking about millions. So if 10 days you times it by a few millions, it's talking about a saving of, it's a lot of savings there. So these are not statements or academic theoretical statements, but these are real case study and the savings that the industry have gotten based on the implementation of AI. So I always says that AI is like a brain to human being. And people has been going around and promoting saying that data is the king. At one time, people said cash is the king, but nowadays people says data is the king. So what it means here is data is so important, And that is why we can see a lot of IT apps developer or institutions are heading towards to grab as big data, as much data as possible. But if we have so much data, so big data, how do we really use that data, analyze that data, and make use of that data? So we need AI as the tools to come in to play that particular role. So in the long run, if we look at it, it's the same thing like a human being. If they don't have a brain, the entire human being physically will not be of much use to the community. So, in another word, if an institutions does not have AI capability, it is like a human being which doesn't have a brain. So that indicates and shows the importance of AI. So I would like to stop at there, Chair Razif, and maybe we can contribute again in the next round. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dato. A very, very insightful thought. Perhaps you could prepare what you think in our next round. Maybe you can explain a bit more. What do you see the future of AI in for the industry players? Will every industries be having their own AI capabilities? And then no companies in the future cannot live without AI in the future. We'll come back to you. The question in this moment. I would like to go to Dr. Azri now. Dr. Azri, you basically represent the AI experts in Malaysia. So what is our current capabilities of AI in Malaysia? Dr. Azri, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rajiv. And I think that is quite important questions for Malaysian actually, because first I would like to show, I would like to explain actually what is actually the benefits, or what actually the benefit of industrial revolutions to what we call to humankind. Because if you cannot see actually what is actually the benefit of industrial revolutions to the human economies, to the living standards of national of Malaysia, we cannot pursue that objectives together. So first, I would like to show that from this slide, you can see the plot there on my left, on our left, which is this is what we call GDP per capita from the year, the first year of what we call one Masihi until now, 2016. So we can see from here, the GDP of our world is not that high from the first of the birth of Christ until 1800 or 1800 centuries. From there, when the start of the industrial revolutions, the GDP per capita or living standards of the people in the world suddenly become increasing significantly. You can see what the graph shows after 1500 AC, we can see the plot is coming up. So that's we can say that industrial revolution actually help help to increase living standards of human beings, not just give the technology changes or technology upgrades to humankind, but also increase the living standards and also give more than what the technology can give us. So what actually the ingredients of industrial revolution from the industrial revolution 1 until industrial revolution 3 that, and now we're going to the industrial revolution 4. Actually, up here we can see the key is to replace human labor. Okay, to replace human labor from humans to machines. So that is the key, because with these replacements, actually we can increase the output per head. Okay, human can increase their their output and also their income. So that is actually what is the key characteristics of industrial revolutions. They have the key technologies. For example, in the industrial revolution 1, we have steams, what we call steam engines, In Industrial Revolution 2, we have electricity for the key characteristic of the Industrial Revolution 2, and then in Industrial Revolution 3, we have internet. So all of these key technologies are actually what we call general purpose technologies. What is general purpose technologies? Actually, general purpose technology is the technology that can permeate or can diffuse in all sectors of economies, not just in IT, not just in agriculture, but from primary, secondary to tertiary sectors in economies. So that actually makes what we call in this integration with a technology upgrade is significant enough to increase the living standards and GDP per capita of the world. And then the second, what we should look is the productive capital. Okay, before IR4, what is a productive capital depends is on the TFP, what we call as total factor productivities at labor at capital. That before these three what we call factors actually increase the economic growth of the world. But nowadays came AI. AI actually is not the to add to TFP or what we call total factor productivities. But actually it as a new factors for productive capital. Is we add one more factors besides these three factors that we have currently now we have. So now we have four. That's why when what we call the promise of AI is actually to increase the GDP of the world, and also GDP per capita, and also the output per head, as well as the income of the humans. Okay, so GDP plus living standard actually they get the increment from productivity's increment. So that's actually all the essence of Industrial Revolution 4.0. Actually, what we would like to try to see as an association, we try to see what actually the key technologies first that can replace human labor with a machine, and the second, try to see what is really the GPT, or the general purpose technologies that we can use not only in this one sectors of economy, we can use all sectors in economies. And then we try to look, the third one we try to look, we want to add AI as not as an additive to TFP, but as a new factors of productive capital. Okay, so it's actually that what we believe that can contribute to what we call to increments of GDP per capita, and also income of human as well, living standards. Okay, why actually what we call IR 5.0 is introduced? Actually, we can see in the world right now the slowing down of economies. Okay, we can see from here world GDP from 1980s we have 3.0%. Until now, 2010, just 1.1% world GDP, all showing the what you call downturn trend. In Malaysia, we can see here, down here, Malaysia have implemented three policies from NEP, NDP, and NVP. Okay, these three policies actually is what we call is something that we have to look at because when the government introduced the policies, we can see the growth per capita actually going down. For an NNP, we see 6.5% GDP per capita. NDP 7.1% is increased a little, and then for NVP it goes just to 3.2% gross GDP per capita. So the question is why NVP contribute so small to the gross GDP per capita? So that is the question. Okay, so the first answer is about technology upgrade. What got technology upgrades to the sectors in Malaysia? Because we can see nowadays we have stuck in what we call middle income crisis. Middle income crisis is actually we cannot go towards a high income society. So the problem, one of the problem is because we lack of technology progress. Okay, we can see in every sectors, the technology upgrade is so slow to absorb the latest technology and the indigenous technologies. Indigenous means Malaysia itself introduced the technology is quite low. So that is the main problem of why actually Malaysia have the policy and NVP become lower than the rest. Okay, the other things is because in IR 3.0, the problem with IR 3.0, when we adopt internet, actually the IR 3.0 not replacing human labor to machine. It just adds something to the humans at home and jobs. We have, as one said, we need a flying car, but we just have 140 characters from WhatsApp. It's something not replacing humans. So that's why we can see in the world itself, we cannot see the significant productivity increments. Also in Malaysia, when we implement NVP, we have a mathematics supercomputer MSc as a knowledge economy that introduced by our previous prime ministers, because we follow the steps, the wrong steps. Okay, we follow the step that not replacing human labor to machine. So if we follow, if we still follow the failure of Industrial Revolution 3.0 to Industrial Revolution 4.0, we will not have this the benefit of increments in economies, let alone the living standard, to increase the living standard for nations. So that is actually why we put all of this into perspective. So we as associations try to what we call to direct public sectors, private sectors, and also the public, so they can know actually what they have to focus on. Okay, I'm not saying that I per se is a what we call is a what we call is a good candidate for economic growth, but what I'm trying to say, AI is one of them. We have many more. We have IoT, we have big data, and we have 3D printings. We have nanotechnology, we have biotechnology. We have all of that, but that is hard to pursue because it is a very high tech. We need what I call experienced scientists. We need STEMs to more powerful to explore to this what we call new economies. New economy is very totally what we call resource demanding. Okay, we need to pour a lot of money, a lot of investments in order to make it happen. But AI, as we can see, is not just a technology that we can just implement it, as we can see from China. China is actually doesn't have this capability to what we call to produce a good product of AI, but because this is the age of implementation. AI is the technology of just implementation. You don't have to do research and developments too deep in order to come out with new products of AI. You don't have to do that. We just implement it. We have open source. We have open source. We have the open data. All of this come out together that make us just not just public sector, also private sector, to come up with their own technologies of AI. Okay, but as Dr. Karim and Dr. Kal said, the awareness is not there yet. Okay, we in public sectors, the lack of what we call awareness is something scary, because when they cannot articulate what actually the AI can do to their organization, to the agencies, that means they will not absorb, they will not put it into their strategies. Okay, so that is the what we call the whole pictures of our associations. So going back to the Razif questions, the national capabilities. Okay, the national capabilities, we can see, I just take it from Government AI Readiness Index. Okay, and this is from Oxford institutions. Okay, in 2019, Malaysia ranking is in 22, is at the number 22. In 2020, Malaysia is at ranking number 28. Okay, compared to Singapore, Singapore in 2019, the ranking is number 1. And in 2020, the ranking is number 6. So there is huge gap. between Singapore and Malaysia, although we just a neighbor, but still the gap is so huge that shows something that missing there. Okay, what actually the missing ingredients that we are not focusing on? The governments, the public sectors, the policymakers focus on make the Malaysians as a good place for AI technologies. Okay, why actually the government AI readiness index is so important? Because we would like to attract FDI. Okay, because the investor outside, they just want to see the numbers, the rankings, so they can invest. So if we will not improve this ranking, I'm afraid actually we will lose a lot more to Singapore or Thailand that currently ahead of us. Since that's for me, Encik Aziz.
Thank you, Dr. Azri. I think your point is very, very key. I mean, no matter what new technology you put on board, if there's no human capital or capabilities to do so, then we will go nowhere. And then awareness also play a very, very key in this. And then I think this is something that we should highlight to the government on this particular matter. So, gentlemen, this is the end of round one. So basically, perhaps I could conclude that yes, there are some areas that Malaysia are good at that we can leverage on, but there are also more room for improvement for our sectors to be involved in AI, and of course, human capital plays a very, very key role for now and also for us to go towards the future. Coming to that, now is our round two, which we are going to really talk about the future expectation and also what are some of the gaps that you see that will hinder us moving forward. So perhaps I'd like to start with Dato' Karim. Maybe what do you think of AI in the future in Malaysia will be like? Dato', you have the mic.
Number one, I would say that in any country developments, leader of the country is very important because number one, they are the first frontier that will be dealing with the world outside of Malaysia. And secondly, they are also the policy maker and they are also the decision maker, and they have a very deep pocket to roll out the necessary budget to achieve the respective goals, policies, and so on. So in this aspect, I will say that, like I have mentioned just now, the leaders of the country, Malaysia, are of course from generation to generations are very ambitious, and a lot of statements has been issued out. For example, like to become the tiger of Asia, and then there are even stronger statements to become the lion of Asia. So I mean, the determinations, ambitions, and motivations is very strong. And of course, if we see the latest budget that has been rolled out, it also shows a very strong commitment towards assisting the people of Malaysia, and also to open up more conducive investment platform to foreign investor. I know that there will be certain parties which will not agree to what I'm saying, because it depends on where you are standing and where you are looking from. But on a neutral ground, as industrialist and as a person who has gone around the world and see different policy implementations, the wealthiness of the people of the respective country and so on, I would like to say that from the physical field discussions and talks with leaders, Malaysia is well positioned, and Malaysia still garnered a very high respect from many countries that I have been to. So if you look at the profile as an organization, Cyberdynamic, we are present in 24 countries, and all those countries that we visited, we make a comparison towards Malaysia. So I will say that one of the benchmark that I always mention is if we go to a lot of country, there will be Chinatown. If we go to a lot of country, you will also see Indian town. Like in the Kuala Lumpur, you have the Chinatown, you have the Little India street. So what does that mean? It means that this community has migrated and has entered into a lot of countries, and the numbers are sizable and big enough that they can build a community in those respective countries. But if we go to a lot of countries, we don't see something like Kampung Melayu, Kampung Malaysia, or you name it. The numbers of Malaysian going out and live in other country as a place for them to earn a living, the numbers are still small. Yeah. So I go straight to the point. What I am trying to say here is, to a certain extent, Malaysia has so much offerings to the people that they don't need to go get out of Malaysia. That's the fact. And I always also use a statement saying that Malaysians are pampered, manja. And to a certain extent, it's true. But again, if your own country does not give you what is required, even though you are pampered or manja and so on, you will still be forced to get out of the country and find a better place to stay. So in that aspect, the point that I want to make here is we are blessed and we are fortunate to have a country like Malaysia. So to extend the point of the discussion today, I strongly believe that if the adoptions of technology, one of it is artificial intelligence, is not taken seriously, then I would say that in whichever field we are in, we will perish and we will disappear. In becoming a strong force or a strong entity to compete with others who are adopting, implementing, and acquiring the expertise of AI. And as what all the data that has been shown by the other two panelists, we see that one of the important future challenges is the academic institution. Technology evolves so fast that the academic syllabus could not catch up with the developments of technology. We can't put the blame of academicians and so on and so forth because they have certain SOP to follow, approvals from regulators from one layer to the other layer before it is being rolled out as a approved academic syllabus. So I myself, who owns Unimai, is also facing the same situations, and I am throwing out to the management of Unimai in such a way that regardless of how difficult and how big the challenge is in terms of trying to adopt the latest developments of technology evolvement to the industry, it is quite tough because the SOPs that need to be followed. So what can be done? The way I look at it is there must be a bridging advanced course to be implemented before those graduates get out of the university. So that at least when they entered into the real career world, they will not be caught by surprise and they will not be seen as a graduate, but is hopeless in certain aspect. And we can't blame them because all this latest technology and so on are not being really introduced in a holistic manner. So there must be a bridging program so that these people become relevant. I talk to a lot of academicians in other parts of the world, and they are very supportive. They understand that the situations in every country is the same. So by such a situations in future, we can get more relevant graduates coming up to support the growth of the industry. The second thing that I would like to touch here is Dr. Azri has mentioned regarding machines to machines interactions. Yeah? And moving forward, one of the destructive of all this technology, which includes artificial intelligence, is the abundance of resources, human being, which are not required anymore in certain sector of the manufacturing and also other industry implementation. So industrialists, the experts, the scientists is moving towards very aggressively at the moment how to improve the communications and also the automations between machine to machine, up to a level that we know if robots are being created and they also have the AI that is embedded into the heart of that particular machines, there is still lacking. The experts or scientists cannot create a feeling to be embedded into the invention. But upon mentioning that, the scientists and experts are moving towards that direction to get as close as possible that this invention can reach the same caliber and the status of human being. And if that happens, that means, of course, in terms of productivity, they are much better because their processing abilities and so on is much better. And I always make a comparisons. If human being, they have feeling. If they, during the night time, they have a bad time with the family or the wife or the son and so on and so forth, the next day they will come in a very moody situation, the productivity definitely will drop. But when you talk about machines, there it's not just a situation. So the machines will produce what is really required. And the last point, I know time is very precious here, is enablers. Enablers are very important here. What I'm referring to enablers is there must be awareness and also the commitment from successful industry players to roll out the startup program for startup company to come in, because these company, they have a lot of ideas and they are highly motivated, but they need a helping hand to help them to grow. So the idea of Silicon Valley, which is proven to be a successful model of developing successful technologies or technology company, need to be rolled out in a big way in Malaysia, so that we can create more technologies, more industrial players to be successful. And I see that this is going on at the moment. Venture capitalists are also actively being formed, and they are coming in quite a moderate way at the moment. So I foresee the future is good in the aspect of AI in Malaysia.
Thank you, Dato.
Yeah.
Very, very important points that you raised, especially on the bridging program. And also, I think we always try to think about trying to match the different players, stakeholders, trying to work together and then trying to reach towards the same goal. I think your point is very, very key there. So I will to Dr. Azri now. Dr. Azri, you have been working with many companies and trying to put AI into their businesses, operations, and etc. What do you see some of the main challenges or pain points that the industry face? Dr. Azri?
Okay, that's a very good question. The pain points or the challenge that currently the industry are facing. For me, I can just recap some of them because it's actually too many. But the major is the lack of enabling the ecosystem that I see. What I call and that actually have catered this kind of problems. And the low intensity of AI research. So this is in a meso economics level or at the institutional level, research development level. So actually, we have the governments or the public sector have to help this what we call meso economics level, so they can provide something useful or something significant to the economies, not just for the contribution to the knowledge, but also to the economies. And the third one is inadequate availability of AI expertise, manpower, and scaling opportunities. So this is one of the major challenge in Malaysia because we don't have a place where everybody can learn or they can upgrade or upskilling the skills towards good AI developments. Okay, we don't have this because AI is, of course, is easy to develop, but it needs skill to make it quality. So that's the difference in because AI is not just what we call programming techniques. It's actually to make a machine intelligent. So the keyword is intelligence. So how to make machine intelligence? So here we have a lot of kind of intelligence in of course in this world. Or in computer science we have machine intelligence. But machine intelligence is not as good as human intelligence. Okay, what actually artificial intelligence skill that we need is to groom this expertise, manpower, or skill to upgrade them to make the machine as good as human intelligence. So that's the point that need to be catered from the lack of the skill of the AI expertise in Malaysia. Okay, because in China they do have a good AI engineers, but they focus more on what we call as on the data itself because China is huge. They have a lot of they have a huge populations. There are a lot of data to be captured, so they can upgrade. They can make their AI products better than us because AI actually depend on data, but not necessarily because the data itself is one part of that. But the second part is how to make machine from machine intelligence to the human intelligence, because we don't want our futures, for example, we have a self-driving car to be driven by a machine level of intelligence. Okay, we want the autonomous car actually have the human level of intelligence. What they see is like humans see. Okay, for example, in computer visions, the intelligent quality in human intelligence is computer vision is vision itself. Human visions. Human vision can see everything, every single objects without fail, although at dark, low brightness. But machine is different because machine depends on the machine. Machine is not something like biological components that can be that have this tolerance. Okay, so that's what we call the quality we need to improve. For example, computer vision, the vision is that we need human visions. For face recognition, recognition is intelligence, but we need recognition of humans. Okay, face human recognitions. We have sentiment analysis. Sentiment is humans. You want that sentiment of humans, not sentiment of machine. So that's actually the skills we need to make the quality products, the quality AI expertise, the quality manpower, and the quality skills in Malaysia. And the third one, the fourth one is high resource cost and low awareness for adapting AI in business process. So this is some of the difficulties in Malaysia because most of the CIO, chief information officers, lack of knowledge about AI. They don't know how actually they can integrate AI into their business process. They cannot see the goods. The good is just as simple as that. We would, if an organization would like to improve the productivities, okay, to improve the output per head, just augment their stuff with AI. Okay, so they can focus more on something more important and then the AI will do all the repetitive works or tasks. Okay, and then the fifth one, we have unclear privacy, security, and ethical regulations. This is very important. Privacy is very, very important in the current AI environments. In Malaysia itself, it is very hard for us to get data that owned by government sectors. So this is for them, this is so private. So so it's hard for the private sector itself to get the data. So with this obstacle, it's hard for example, the private sectors to produce a good, or what I call high entry barriers products that can be used, or that can be sold to the world. Yeah, because we need, we don't talk the rare data. It is like something that the data that exclusively that can be collected in one organizations, that will become high entry barriers. So that we can groom what we call more quality product before what we call before the product itself can get the what we call the profits. What we call every company that try to get the data itself is you cannot get the data that easy. So we would like to see the privacy itself can be catered by the governments. And then the security, of course, this is not just in artificial intelligence, in IoT, in every single digital knowledge domains, we have the security obstacles. And the last one is ethical. Ethical is not like privacy. Ethical is something that we need the artificial intelligence, because after this we will rely on artificial intelligence to do what we as human do. Okay, so that's why we need ethical. Ethical, for example, when self-driving cars drive the car for us, but suddenly they say something, for example, maybe 3 or 4 people cross the road. So what actually the ethics for the car to do? For example, maybe because this is very short decision making, what actually the decision making that artificial what we call the autonomous car have to do? Okay, so this is the ethics, because some research previously showed that because we have the bias in our algorithms, in AI algorithms, most of the autonomous car will most likely avoid what we call white-skinned people and just hit the dark-skinned people. But because the data itself, they don't have enough data about dark-skinned people. So that is the bias. That is unethical at all. Because in USA, this become very hot topics. Even we can see in the Google itself, what we call the research, AI ethical researchers, the black women have been fired because of something that is not in agreement with the Google policies. Okay, because the ethicals, but the ethicals can be raised when the AI itself have the human level of intelligence. Well, we cannot blame a machine that have machine level intelligence, because there is no something in the machine that we can blame, because that's machine level intelligence. But when we talk about human level intelligence, that's different. Okay, and the last one, uneducative intellectual properties to incentivize research and adoption of AI. Okay, because some of the researchers have pointed out intellectual properties can raise wages to 1.5%. Okay, in any organizations, when an organization itself file for the IP, the wages of the staff will increase 1.5 points. Okay, so that's actually all what I call the obstacle or the challenge that have been faced by organization itself. Okay, so for me, the major obstacle is data. Okay, data is so very important. Like Dr. Karim said, data is new cash, or now we call data is a new oil. Data is a new commodities. Because all of this actually try to point out, like previously we have internet. Internet itself, information is the oil. For the electricity, for the R 2.0 electricity, is the oil. For R 1.0, the what you call it, the water itself is the oil. But now IR 4.0 because everything will be governed by what you call knowledge technologies. The data is the basics or the fundamental of intelligent power in AI age. It's very important. So every single industry needs to have a good and quality data. If they don't have this, they cannot adopt. They cannot even adopt the AI because it's useless for them to not hire to invest, do the capital investment to a machine that have AI levels, but they cannot contribute to the productivity of the organizations. The productivity of the organization is depends on the AI, the quality of the AI. The quality of AI is depends on the data, the quality of the data. So that is, I think, the major pain point for the current situation in Malaysia. Back to you, Encik Aziz.
Thank you, Dr. Azri. So I'm starting to see there are several themes that keep emerging from the past two rounds that we have. But before I go into that, I'm going to pass the mic to Dr. Carl for his question of the long-term benefit of AI. What are some of the important policy recommendations that you think that needs to be in place? Based on the response by the two earlier gentlemen. Dr. Carl?
Okay, thank you, Rasif. So I have some answers to some of the questions asked by Dr. Karim and also Dr. AMDAC has been quite consistent when championing the digital economy when it comes to the digital adoption, and specifically on the data analytics, big data analytics, as well as AI. We have been conducting quite a number of AI programs as well, right? In terms of talent, in terms of industry sort of talent. One of the area of work that we've been focusing is on the development of the national AI framework. So we've been looking at this for a number of years, where we have conducted quite a number of studies, interviews, as well as a focus group to look at, how would AI framework will look for the country, right? And this framework actually looks at 5 different objectives, right? So the whole focus on the framework is basically answering the question, how can AI drive and augment jobs and drives the national competitiveness and also encourage innovation and entrepreneurship while bringing economic prosperity, social good, and improving the people's well-being, right? So this is essentially the focus. And we look at this from, how could AI achieve, 5 different areas, right? Number one is how do you open jobs, create higher level jobs, which I think the panelists have talked about, right? Secondly is actually, how do you use AI to drive growth, industry growth, right? Across all sectors, right? Because AI is like the electricity, and how to use AI to power the other industry and to get that economic growth for the country. Third is we need to make sure that our country is an attractive place for AI deployment and as well as development and application, right? Increasingly, I think the challenge on the AI is, how do you test bed and how do you get rollout initiative fast enough to benefit from the AI, right? So this is actually the third point. The fourth point is, how do you drive innovation and ecosystem, right? The startup ecosystem. How do you get more people to innovate around coming up with new solutions on AI, as well as using this for the benefits of their companies, right? And lastly, it's about the societal impact. How do you use AI to solve people's problem, right? From improving the quality of life, including the use of AI in government, for example, to help government to make the right decision making, to give the right grant, the right incentives, and the help to the needy people based on the data they already have, right? So this is actually the objective. In order to do this, we need to really look at 6 key building blocks, right? A lot of the panelists have mentioned, but I'll just put it in perspective. Number one, it's how do you build a conducive data ecosystem, right? Data powers AI. Garbage in, garbage out. So you need to get good quality data and large amount of data. And this data resides not just the government, but also private sector. And in order to get this massive amount of data, you need to encourage data sharing, right? Among private sector and the government to government, not just in country, but also other countries as well, right? So in order to do this, it requires a basic understanding what constitutes data sharing. Because sharing is not like something which people like to do, especially when it comes to data, because there's IP and a lot of intellectual property secret as well. But there are certain data that can be shared, aggregated data, you can just average it or you can mask it. A lot of different ways to share the data, but while maintaining and ensuring that personal identifiable information is not being disclosed, right? So this is something that we've been trying to have been focusing on with the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. We are developing a national data sharing policy that covers, a national level for the government, also private sector, as well as for the citizen as well. So this policy will provide a general guideline and a general understanding as what constitute data sharing, and what's the principle of data sharing, as well as different strategies that is needed to move the country to really adopting the data sharing culture, but while maintaining the privacy, the ethical consideration, as well as abiding the necessary law, right? So there's a balancing act that needs to be done, and the good news is the policy is ready, and now it's going through the process of trying to get this approved through the various committee and finally by the cabinet, right? So something that is being pursued right now. So that's the good news. The second area, apart from the data ecosystem that we need to look at, is actually the infrastructure, right? I think when it comes to the security, cybersecurity aspect of things, as well as the physical infrastructure, this network, which is required to make this happen. The good news is some of this policy, like for example, the cloud policy is being drafted by the government, and increasingly you can see a lot of companies are adopting cloud-related solutions, and they're able to scale rapidly. And because they're adopting cloud solutions, their data it's centralized in the cloud, and they're able to use this in a more meaningful way and faster way in the future. The third area that you need to look at is actually obviously awareness and adoption of AI, right? To a certain degree, there's been a lot of seminars, talks around this. Personally, I do enjoy the AI conference that Serba Dynamic hosted last year, where we actually have Sophia, the AI robot present, and a lot of different things that industry is doing, including MDEC as well. We actually hosted the AI and Data Week last year. This year, we actually have the Malaysia Tech Month, where we spoke about AI and data and all this. And this needs to take place. But I think the challenge here is, how do you change the mindset of the organization to really start to adopt and starting to put in investment and resources in terms of AI. The fourth area that we need to look at is obviously the AI talent, right? So fortunately, we have started this journey 6 years ago with our National Big Data Initiative, where we have a national target for data professionals as 20,000, right? The result of this is right now we have trained more than nearly 16,000 people, in this area. And you can see that in the large companies in the more advanced sector that I mentioned earlier on, telco, maybe some retail, financial sector, a lot of them have groups of experts in this area, data scientists, some of them even have head of AI, right? So a lot of them are experimenting in this area, and this create demands and also projects for the academia, but also the students, potential students, right? So we can see that this is growing, and we hope that, right now we have 23 universities that are offering data analytics courses, but a lot of them are also offering like more advanced courses like advanced analytics and machine learning and into the realm of AI, right? The fifth area is obviously the innovation and R&D. And through some of our studies, it's shown that there's quite a number of companies who are maturing and starting to offer AI-related solutions in the market, right? So all in all, we see that there's nearly 100 companies, startups who are in this space, and each of them are contributing in a respective area. For example, Cyberdynamic, it's contributing in the area of oil and gas, using AI in machinery, preventive maintenance, predictive analytics, and that sort of area, right? At the same time, there are also companies who are for example, in a drone area. Aerodyne is one of those companies. They're one of the largest drone services company in the world right now, and that actually combine hardware, the drone, with the video analytics, image analytics, and develop AI solutions that are able to service their clients, right? And they do have development teams who are developing their solutions. So we see that happening, and what is important is trying to get some of the solutions to solve a big problems. And lastly, it's about the whole governance around the AI. How do you want to look at regulations around AI? Do you want to regulate or not to regulate? Because sometimes regulation would stifle the innovation, but at the same time as well, too much regulation will stifle the innovation, right? So how do you find a balance in this sort of areas? It's something that we need to learn. And in other countries, obviously, they are starting to look at ethics and whatnot, right? So from a data policy standpoint, we are developing a data ethics, right? Because there's the foundation, and we hope that this can be used eventually, to look at AI ethics and other things as well. So those are my points. In order to drive the benefit of AI in the 5 different objectives that I mentioned earlier on, we really need to look at the building blocks, right? From an ecosystem standpoint, from an infrastructure, cybersecurity, from awareness, talent, innovation, and finally the whole governance. How do you want to drive this? Fortunately, in Malaysia, I think that with the current condition, the push towards 4th IR and digital economy, we are in the right track to really govern and push this from a national strategy standpoint. For example, recently there's a digital economy and 4th IR council chaired by the Prime Minister. There's been a rollout, and they actually had the first meeting. And through this committee, there are various different clusters that are chaired by respective ministers to really push this agenda. For example, we actually have a clusters on data infrastructure. We have a clusters on talent. There's a cluster on the government side as well. So all this work hand in hand to make sure that we are able to push this as a national agenda and to resolve any challenges that we have through this governance process. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Dr. Kamal, for very, very insightful views and also highlighting some of the key areas that MDAC and your good self has done over the years. I think as a summary, there are several themes that I've started to see. Perhaps I could summarize it in 5 letters. First is financial. I think financial, Dr. Karim, you mentioned about FDI. earlier, and how is it important for big companies to actually help the startups and all that. I think that's was one of the challenges for the small companies. They do need funds to actually, help them to adopt the new technology. Sorry, for infrastructure, I think, Dr. Kao, you mentioned a lot about digital infrastructure that needs to be there. Regulatory, Dr. Azri, you mentioned about regulatory of data, trying to access data. I think we need to actually look into how do we able to get the industry able to get the data from the government. So that's another area to look at. Skills and talent, another big topic that actually I think across the board, everyone talks about it, which I think it is actually a good important area that needs to be highlighted. And of course, last but not least is technology. So basically, the acronym is for the community to move forward. We do need to take the first step forward, I think. So that's the end of our round two. We have about roughly less than 15 minutes to go. And I do have a third question, third round of question. But I think I'm not going to do that, the third round question. I think I'm going to start with Q&A.
Yeah.
Because I have actually the several questions by from the panelists now. So the first Q&A. What do you think are the necessary skills that need to be developed in the industry in order to fully exploit the advantages of AI? Anybody would like to take a shot at that?
I can. Right. So you look at this. It requires three sort of skill sets, right? In order for someone to do well in this particular area, right? So number one, it's the technical aspect of things, right? So this is actually the machine learning, the data science component, the technical, maybe programming knowledge, which is required for someone to do well technically. The second area is actually the business skills, the business acumen. It is very, very key, especially when you want to understand the context and the problem of the areas that you're trying to solve, right? So this could be, if you're solving a financial related sector problem compared to oil and gas is slightly different, right? So this sort of knowledge is key. That's the second point. And third area is actually, the soft side of things, right? So how do you tell the story? How do you communicate with people in terms of your solution and get them to buy in your solution? That's key, right? So that's actually what I say. These are the three key skills that someone would need to have in order to move and to do well in this respective area.
Thank you, Dr. Kau. Okay, question number two. I think this may be a question for Dr. Azri here. I have been watching movies like Terminator, Surrogates, and the latest TV, Next, where robots, which are highly intelligent, takes over and control humans instead of serving humans. In real life, do you feel that this will happen to us one day? Dr. Azri, this is question right.
Okay, thank you very much, Rajesh. Okay, that's very interesting questions. Before I answer the questions, actually I would like to give you an overview about artificial intelligence. Very short. Actually, currently we are facing with what we call as a narrow artificial intelligence. Okay, narrow artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence that focus only on one specific task. For example, they just can recognize face. The AI just can recognize car. The AI can just recognize watermelons. That's what we call narrow AI. Currently in IR 4.0, we are doing that. We are trying to make a machine just to recognize what we call to do sentiments, only one specific task. But after that, after Alpha 4.0, we have what we call artificial general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence is something that huge than what we call narrow artificial intelligence, because in Alpha 4.0, I don't expect many job replacements from machine to humans, from human to machines, because we just augmented humans, because this is what we call the domain of narrow artificial intelligence, just to augment it, because they just know very specific and very narrow tasks. Okay, after that, this is something scary, because after that we have artificial general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence is something that the machine that can do general tasks. Okay, the machine not just only can recognize a machine, a car, a machine, they also can have feelings, have emotions, have this kind of qualities or consciousness that currently we can see in Western. They try to make consciousness machine, a machine that have consciousness, so they can do the morality judgment in itself, what we call subjective experience. Okay, so this is AGI. This is the time where the machine will replace totally human. So that is the stage far away from the current evolution, because we need to wait until the evolution stagnant economically, then we will pursue for the artificial general intelligence. If the artificial general intelligence mature enough to be adopted by industries. And the last one is what we call as singularity. Okay, the singularity is where all the machines will be integrated into human biological bodies. Okay, like for example, currently we have the pacemaker that can control our heartbeat. That's what one example. But in what we call in singularity, because human need advancement, what we call we need longevity, we need live longer. So the machine can help us to live longer, which means we need to integrate silicon technology with biological technologies. Biological is our body cell, carbon-based components is our own body. Because now, for example, we have brain, but our brain is what I call transmit information not fast enough. For example, maybe one at one, maybe we can calculate, but how about 1,234 times 1,234? It's hard for us to calculate because we don't have that capacity of our brain to calculate that fast. But machine is different. We can just imagine we transfer our brain into a machine that can calculate faster than us. Like for example, I put Einstein brain into machines. What happened to the what I call to the output of the calculations of the inference of the machine if you make it faster. The what I call the connectum. The connectum is actually a study of how we can make human brain cells. We want to translate it into a machine. So that we call connectum. That means we try to connect every single neuron cells in our brains, and we would like to make that connection, and we try to jumpstart that connector in the machines. So that's what we call as singularities. So that is something similar to what this guy said about terminators, about surrogates. So that is actually when the machine bypass us, because not because the machine intelligent than us, but because the machine can calculate faster than us. That's all. Because we cannot calculate faster than machine because our limitation of biological brain. But machine is not that, doesn't have that limitations. They keep improving, like more laws, keep improving in 2 years, become more faster and more faster. Then they will leave us in no time. So that's the times that we should be afraid. But I think from the 0, 5.0, 6.0, we don't have to be afraid that yet, because artificial general intelligence and singularity is very far away. It's very, very infancy research in the current artificial intelligence domain. Back to you, Azif.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Azri. I think we're almost out of time now. So basically, just to conclude for the whole session, of course, we see AI has a big, huge, multi-billion opportunities for Malaysia. So I think it's really up to everyone, the government, industry, and academia, and even the society to actually to come together and to figure out what is the strategy or the next step to push Malaysia to the next level. I think everyone needs to be on the same table, put their heads down, and just be Malaysian. How do we move forward together? I think that's the end of my. That's actually the conclusion I have. So, gentlemen, thank you for being with us in the show. We hope that we can invite you again for our future webinars for next year. Just a short announcement. Next year, we're going to start with season 2 with more action-packed topics such as hydrogen, autonomous vehicle, food security, and many more. So for our Christian fans, Merry Christmas and hope you have a festive season with you and your family. And to everyone else, have a Happy New Year. So we'll see you next year. This is Razif signing off from Cyberjaya.